and welcome to Texas A&M University at Qatar. We welcome you all to the Graduate Studies Open House. My name is Hani Ayyash. I'm the manager of the Graduate Studies Office, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Dareen Derdour, graduate student at Texas A&M University at Qatar. She will be the Master of Ceremony for the Graduate Studies Open House. And the exciting thing for me, Dareen last year at the open house, she was sitting among the audience preparing for her application. So it's a great pleasure, and I give her a warm welcome. Dareen, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dareen, currently a master's student here at TAMQ. I joined fall 2016. Like Ms. Hania said, last year I was sitting just like you and planning for my application. As I said, I joined fall 2016. Before that, I was at Qatar University, where I got my bachelor's in chemical engineering with the Order of Excellence Award. And this evening you will have the chance to meet university administrators and professors who will give you information about the university and our graduate programs. I'm joined by a wonderful group of staff, faculty, graduate students, and advisors. Allow me also to welcome our online audience who will be watching and listening through the live stream. You will also have the chance to meet our distinguished panelists who will talk about the significance of pursuing a graduate degree and the impact or what that has on your professional career and how it benefits the industry at the same time. I think we're having a technical problem with the sound. So now I'm pleased to introduce to you Dr. Cesar Malavi, Dean and TO at Texas A&M University at Qatar.
Thank you, Darren. Howdy. All right, great. This is a fabulous event. I keep looking at the audience. I'm going to deviate a little bit from my script. Just to say that, but I love to see the students, I love to see the faculty, especially one of the things that make my days when I see smiles in the faculty. That is great. And but this is what we do. As faculty members, we educate students, and one of the group of students that we especially love is graduate students. So good afternoon and welcome to Texas A&M at Qatar. Welcome and thanks to our guests from Oryx GTO, our sponsors, Kerry, and Gulf Intelligence. Thank you very much for making this event possible. Especially to our graduate students and former graduate students who are here tonight to share their work and their thoughts. I'm so glad you're here to learn about our graduate programs in chemical engineering. Just by being here, you have shown that you're ready to further your education and help build national capacity in Qatar. Our branch campus core missions of teaching, research, and scholarship is cultivating a new generation of engineer leaders and researchers who will have a direct impact in the state of Qatar growth and development. As a master's student in chemical engineering, you will be part of that mission. You will have a chance to be involved in responsive research that is tackling the world's toughest issues and contributing to Qatar's goal of being a knowledge-based economy. Our graduate program is critical to the development of human capital that Qatar needs to support the Qatar National Vision 2030 and the country's future. I really hope that you find this open house informative and that you join us soon, like next fall, as a master's student in chemical engineering. I have to tell you also, again, going off the script, that I remember when I decided to be a graduate student. And I have to tell you that some of the best times of my life came when I was a master's student. I remember, we're going to talk more about that in the panel, but I do remember like today when I decided to move from my bachelor to my master's and the amount of knowledge that I get and the special things that I learned that then later helped me in my career as a faculty member. So we'll talk about that more later in the panel, but now I would like to introduce Dr. Patrick Linke, who is the Executive Director of Graduate Studies and the Chair of our Chemical Engineering Program. Thank you.
So again, from me, also welcome to the event, and I hope you will all find it informative, and it will encourage those of you interested in pursuing graduate studies to actually put in an application and hopefully join us in the fall of 2017 as students here. In terms of the safety, which is an aspect we always consider very important here, I just want to bring to your attention we don't have any scheduled alarms for the duration of the session. So if you hear the fire alarms, the emergency exits are behind this wall here. You can enter from both sides. For today, the program is a mix of information about what the graduate programs are that we offer here in chemical engineering, how the administration happens, how do you put together an application, and then you also hear, most importantly, from the students. So you get to hear firsthand about experiences of 3 of our students before we move into the panel, which, as Dr. Malawi said, has members from industry, from ORIC GTL, as well as from Qatar, from the National Research Institute for Energy and Environment Theory, as well as our dean and one of our PhD students, Rabia Mohannadi, who did the Masters of Chemical Engineering with us here and is now completing her PhD in Chemical Engineering in College Station. And then after the panel, Dr. Polut will give a presentation about the ORIX Award, which is an award given to excellent graduate students who make major contributions to their research of relevance to Qatar. In terms of the Office of Graduate Studies, what we do is we look after the general administration of the programs. So when a student applies to the university for a place on the master's programs, they will put in the application through graduate studies. And the manager of graduate studies is Ms. Hanya, who gave the early remarks. Also, we look after the graduate faculty status. Not many of you may know this, but if you're a professor at the university, you're not automatically allowed to teach graduate students, but you have to go through a special vetting procedure to validate the credentials in research and graduate education before a professor is allowed to teach. So our office also facilitates the vetting process, and also we offer support to the students to build communities here. So this year we have launched Graduate Student Association that has strong membership from our current graduate students. They organize events to basically broaden their knowledge beyond the classroom of the graduate students, which we very much welcome. In terms of the graduate programs, it's relatively young at TAMOQ. We started in 2011, and so far we have graduated about 50 students, mainly with Master of Science in Chemical Engineering, and this represents about 10% of our student population here at the university, are graduate students. Total number is 56 at the moment, and this is 46 master students, as well as 10 students who do the PhD, registered in Texas, and present and doing research here in Qatar under the supervision of faculty members from Texas A&M and Qatar. And there are about 40 more PhD students who are working in Texas and are again advised jointly by professors from the university here and the Texas A&M main campus. So when you consider studying further beyond the masters, it's an important choice to make. About 80% of the students, after they complete their Bachelor of Science in engineering, go and work after that, and about 20% consider further studies. And there can be different reasons for doing that, but many times it is being intrigued by what the students have come across in the undergraduate courses and to deepen their knowledge in the different fields. So that's a very good motivation to go for graduate studies. Typically also during the undergraduate studies, which is very broad in education, different students develop different interests. So in graduate studies, they can pursue their fields that excite them most. So it is to bring more excitement into the education at the graduate level and develop much more in-depth knowledge that will set you apart in the future. Here in A&M, we offer Master of Science and Master of Engineering degrees in Chemical Engineering. Dr. Abdel Wahab will give a presentation after me, and he will go in detail and give an overview what these two programs are about. There's also the option of pursuing a PhD in Chemical Engineering, registered in Texas A&M at the main campus in College Station. If you complete the Master of Science with us, then what we can facilitate is fast-track applications onto the PhD program and a relatively smooth transition for pursuing even higher degrees, subject obviously to being admitted in terms of credentials. If you pursue that option, there would be residency in Texas for 2 semesters, and the rest of the time can be research completed here at SAMUQ. In terms of the chemical engineering program that hosts the master programs of SAMUQ, we have about 10 professors here, about 40 researchers at the moment that are on contract and work on research projects. There are about 30 active research projects in different areas relevant to the strategic needs of Qatar. And in terms of productivity, we're very proud that our faculty publish about 8 journal papers per faculty per year, which is competitive or same number as the faculty members in Texas. These are the pictures of the different faculties. So we have a global origin, and we all came together here in Qatar to help contribute to the national vision in the sense of helping to build knowledge-based economy. In terms of the research tracks and centers, in chemical engineering we have different focus areas. We have a very good and strong group in catalysis and reaction engineering. We have famous thermodynamicists. We have process safety activity with a large center associated with it. We work in the field of process systems engineering and design and operations. We have a very strong group in environmental engineering, as well as different applications that are conducted that are of relevance to national priorities for sustainable development. There are 3 centers and initiatives. The Process Safety Center is a very active group that hosts many of our graduate students for their research. The same with the Gas and Fuels Research Center, led by Dr. Bashir here. Many students pursue work in that area in the field mainly of catalysis and reaction engineering, as well as in the water and energy utilization initiative. And a lot of graduate students were with Dr. Ahmed on the water-related problems of the country. Obviously, you can't do research just like that on a desk, but you need some infrastructure. So those who are interested in experimental work can access world-class experimental facilities in the different areas that we work on. And those who are more interested in computational work may access modeling environments, supercomputer that the university has, and there's a lot of infrastructure available to enable successful research. With that, I conclude here, and I hand over to Dr. Abdel Wahab, who will explain in more detail the Master of Science programs and Master of Engineering programs we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Linky. Well, I didn't like the first howdy, so I want to hear a better one now. Howdy. Howdy. That's a better one. Okay, so my name is Ahmed Abdurrahab. I'm professor of chemical engineering here at Texas A&M University at Qatar, and I would like to welcome you all, and thank you for joining us in today's event. I also see some newcomers coming here, so that's good. So I will just elaborate a little bit more on the Dr. Linky's presentation about more specifics about the graduate program here at the university. So as Dr. Linky mentioned, we started our graduate program in 2011. We receive many applications every year for both spring and for fall. Our main admits, they're coming for the first semester, and we admit few during the spring. Usually we admit 20 students per year, and almost 15 of them, they're admitted for the fall, and about 5 to 6, they're admitted for the spring semester. So the application process takes some time, so if you're interested in the fall semester, we encourage you to go ahead and start the process soon, because you have to take exams, and Ms. Hania will talk to you about all of these requirements later on. So our students body, we have two types of students who work full-time in industry, and those students, they pursue their graduate program in the afternoon, because we start our graduate program at 5 o'clock, which allows those students to basically finish their work and come to have their classes here. And the other type of the students who are basically full-time students, we call them those full-time students. So the students who work full-time in industry, they're called part-time, and they don't have to register for full load. They can take as few classes that they want, or as many classes that they want, as long as they register in the university for at least 1 hour. The full-time students, they have to be 9 hours at least. They have to be full-time and register 9 hours in the graduate program. As Dr. Linky mentioned, we have actually world-class faculty members here. You can Google any of them, and you see their contributions to the basically the scientific community, and also to the local community here in Qatar. So they actually participate not only by doing research and teaching in classes, but also they participate in community service here. I mean, our faculty are involved within many committees also in the country, and they collaborate with many industrial partners here in Qatar for basically projects related, and also for community service related activity. And we have examples of them. They are actually with us here: Dr. Neil Bashir, Dr. Yanis Economo, Dr. Konstantinos Kakosimos, and Dr. Patrick Linky. And all of these people, they work closely with the industry on problems that are very relevant to the local needs here in Qatar. So the combined expertise of the faculty members that you see on this picture exceeds like 150 years of experience altogether. So if you join the program, you will benefit from the experience and expertise of these faculty members. Just elaboration a little bit about what Dr. Linky said in terms of the area, just to relate each area to who's working on that. So for the catalysis and reaction engineering, which is very important for Qatar, especially for oil and gas processing, we have Dr. Dragomir Bukar and Dr. Nemr Bashir. They are leading this area, and also the Gas and Fuel Research Center, that's also based here in Qatar, led by Dr. Nemr Bashir in this area as well. We have the environmental engineering and also renewable energy applications, and we utilize solar energy for different applications for water systems and other systems as well. And this area is led by Dr. Konstantinos Kakosimos and myself. Dr. Konstantinos is working on air quality and air quality modeling as well. So in terms of process systems engineering, mainly process design, process optimization, process integration with chemical processes. And this area is led by Dr. Patrick Linky, whose contribution also from Dr. Mohammed Nuno. Process automation and control, it's also led by Dr. Mohammed Nuno, and process safety is led by Dr. Luke, whose contribution from Dr. Marcelo Caster, Dr. Konstantinos Kakosimos, and Dr. Yanis Economo as well. In terms of the thermodynamics area and molecular simulation and modeling, and this area is mainly led by Dr. Caster and Dr. Yanis Economo. In terms of infrastructure, I mean, in order to do research, you either do experimental or computational. If you do experimental, you need labs, you need equipment. If you do computational, you need computers, supercomputers, and you need servers, right? So if you imagine that we just moved to this building less than 10 years ago, so the oldest equipment we have in this building is less than 10 years old. So we have a state-of-the-art equipment in our labs downstairs, especially in chemical engineering research labs, both in academic and research lab, but the research labs are very well equipped with the state-of-the-art equipment for research, and they will be available for you, and we have current students who enjoy basically these facilities that allow them to do the research without actually being limited by the resources, right? So examples of these research laboratories are, you can see in here, the water and the environmental research laboratories, the fluid characterization lab, reaction engineering labs, materials research lab, and process safety lab. So in terms of the masters, as Dr. Linke mentioned, we have two programs. We have Master of Science and we have Master of Engineering. So what's the difference? Master of Science is basically more for those who would like to pursue more kind of graduate studies like PhD or work in research, like in certain in R&D, for example, in industry or in academia, right? So this is the Master of Science is basically better for them because with the Master of Science, they need to do research. They need to go to the lab or do work in the computers to do research and write theses at the end of their research, right? So they basically, there is a considerable amount of their work during the master degree is for research work in addition to the coursework. The Master of Engineering is more basically for the full-time industry or for people who are going to work in industry after they graduate. They're not interested to do more research after they graduate. They just want to kind of learn throughout these courses and then use what they learn to advance their knowledge that will be useful for them in industry after they go back to work in industry or if they are working currently in industry, right? And that's because of that, the Master of Science involves both coursework and research work. So we have 24 hours of coursework and 8 hours of research work. This will make up the 32 hours. And when I say hours, I'm talking about credit hours, right? So this 24 hours of credit hours, you have core courses and you have elective courses. The core courses which everybody has to take, and the elective courses, we have a list of elective courses based on the availability of the faculty members to teach these courses, and also based on your desire. If you're working, for example, in water treatment and you would like to have an elective that will benefit you in your research, then you can take a class that is related to what you're doing, and so on. So this is the list of electives we have. In terms of the Master of Engineering, you take 30 hours, and all the 30 hours are coursework. You don't do research, but one of these courses is called Directed Studies, in which you look into a specific problem and you write a report at the end of the last semester, and this is also for a credit. It's for 4 hours credit, right? So it's not real research, but basically you tackle a problem and you try to address it with your advisor, okay? We have the flexibility also of attending part-time or full-time. But if you're coming from industry, you can attend part-time, you can take as many hours or as less hours as you want. And if you are basically full-time student here at Texas A&M, then you are basically taking a full-time credit, like 9 hours at least. Either could be all coursework or could be a combination of coursework and research hours, okay? We have our classes at 5 o'clock, so this allows people from industry to join without basically having any issues with their work hours, and also to encourage industry as well to allow their employees to pursue graduate program without having any conflict with time. We have actually people here who come from Said Industrial City. We have people who come from Ras Lafan every day to attend our classes here in the evening, and they are doing very well in both actually research and job. In terms of assistantships, when we recruit students, the full-time employee from industry, basically they pay for themselves, right? But the full-time students here at Texas A&M University, they have the opportunity to receive assistantships in the form of teaching or research assistantships. And we have two types of assistantships. We have university level assistantships, which are assistantships that are provided by the university directly, and those are limited numbers. We have about 6 assistantships that are given to students per year, and these are very competitive. So basically we rank students based on GPA, based on GRE, right? And based on other credentials in their file, and we rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we take the first 6 and give them the university level assistantships. And then the remaining students, if they are looking for assistantships, we have also what we call it faculty assistantships. The faculty assistantships, which are the assistantships provided by the faculty members throughout their research projects. We have our faculty, as I mentioned, they are very active in pursuing research and the research funds from industry and from Qatar National Research Fund and from other sources. So these funds are used mainly to support students who are working on the projects with faculty members. So these students also take or have the opportunity for assistantships. The assistantships paid tuition, paid salary, and also one trip to Doha at the beginning of the program. The housing also is provided as part of the assistantships. And in order to keep the assistantships, if you receive the assistantships the first time, in order to keep it, you have to maintain GPA above 3.0, and also this depends on the budget availability. So if there is available budget, then the assistantship can be continued. If there is no budget available, then you work something out with the faculty to see how you can support yourself. But we didn't have any actually case that we had students who suffered during the program from not being funded and had to leave or had to. There is always a solution that will allow students to continue his degree until he or she finishes. Okay. So in the next few minutes, I will just tell you very quick about some success stories. These were students, just like we're sitting in the same place that you are sitting here, and now they are in different places in the world. So, for example, one of the first success stories is Sabla, or Dr. Sabla Al-Nouri. Dr. Sabla Al-Nouri, she was actually our undergrad. She graduated from here with a bachelor degree, and then she joined the master degree the first semester in 2011. And by the time she graduated with a master degree, she had already 4 papers published in high-impact journals. And then she applied to the main campus. She worked with Dr. Linke as her main advisor, and she was admitted to the main campus for PhD. She got her PhD and published more than 8 journal papers during her PhD, and now she's a faculty member at the American University of Beirut. This is one student who had her all kind of degrees from Texas A&M here, and now she's a faculty member, and she's doing great at the university in terms of teaching and research. She was working on desalination systems and basically optimal design of seawater because of most of desalination process. Another example of Dabia Al-Muhannadi, you will see her in a few minutes on the panel. Dabia, she is also one of our students who graduated with master degree, and also she joined the main campus for PhD. She's now doing her PhD degree. She won actually the Oryx award last year for the best students performance, right? And she was working on the energy efficiency and carbon dioxide management. We have Ibrahim Naimi. He worked actually with Dr. Namer Al-Bashir. Ibrahim is a good example of somebody who was full-time employee in the industry and got his master's from here. So Ibrahim was working at Ras Gas and graduated while he was working at Ras Gas, and he actually made a lot of achievements during his program. Amr Kasht, also he was working in Ras Gas as well, and now he moved to Jordan. He's working on Jordan Petroleum Refinery Company, and he was working on GTL with Dr. Namer Al-Bashir, especially on the Fisher process. Dima Al-Masri, she was working with me. She was working in inland desalination of groundwater, and after she graduated, she's now at Kiri. She's a research assistant at Kiri, and at the same time, she's pursuing her PhD degree at Hamad bin Khalifa University. Muhammad Taha, he was working on Capco, and this is actually a very good example of the industry-academia collaboration, because Muhammad was working in a problem that is actually relevant to the need of his company. So he was trying to address an air quality issue for his company, and he decided to conduct his research in this area that was Dr. Kostas Kakosimos, and the accomplishment that he made throughout his research was very useful to his employer. Zayan Sharif, he was working also with Dr. Nuno, and he's now doing his PhD at Texas A&M University at Qatar. Reem Kanis, she's also graduated from here with undergrad and master degree, and she joined ExxonMobil Research Center here at the Qatar Science Technology Park, and Reem now is a collaborator in research projects with Dr. Lu. So, you know, moved from being a student supervised by Dr. Lu to a collaborator of her previous supervisor on projects that are funded by industry and also other sources. And Reem was the first student actually to be recognized with the Qatar Process Safety Symposium Excellence Award. There are many of these students actually got awards, either paper, kind of, or poster awards in conferences or through journal publications. The last slide that I have is basically that you can see it in here is that we see the graduate program as the best link between the industry and academia, because industry, they have the problems that they need to address, and academia, they have the talents and they have the students, right? So we can use these students, the graduate students, to basically work closely with the industry and solve these problems, especially if these students are from the industry themselves, from the industry partners themselves, because they know more about the problem and they can actually contribute a lot in order to solve this problem. So we encourage industry to encourage also their employees to consider application for a graduate program, because this will be a win-win situation for both industry and also for the academia. So this is the last slide that I have, and now I would like to introduce to you, by the way, I would be happy to answer questions about the academic program. I didn't have much time to go through the details about what courses and what kind of elective, what kind of course, how many hours do I need to register. I will be available after the event. If you have any questions about the program, you feel free to ask me anytime. And now, again, I would like to introduce to you Ms. Hani Ayash. She's the manager of our graduate studies program. Actually, Hani, she's the engine of the graduate studies program. She's the most committed person that I have dealt with during the last several years. And actually, she's the main driver for the graduate studies office. So please join me to welcome Ms. Hani Ayash.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed, for your kind words, and it's always an inspiration for me to listen to you, and especially that you have spoken about the success stories of the graduate students that were at TAMOQ, and I really, really look forward to have a presentation on the current graduate students we have and on the prospective applicants that are listening to us today. So I would like to tell you how to build a strong application. Your application is your first major assignment in graduate school. It is made up of several required components. Provides TAMOQ graduate admissions details about your academic competency, your accomplishment, your proficiency, and your motivation and your potential for success. Do remember this statement is really important when you are preparing for your application. And let me tell the current graduate students, this statement you can obviously use also when you prepare your PhD file as well. I know some of you are working on your PhD applications. So again, your application is your opportunity to share your career aspirations or detail accentuating circumstances regarding your previous educational or research activities. So it is really, the application is a great opportunity for yourself to show yourself. What are the application requirements? Simply, it's a copy of your passport information page, statement of purpose, your updated resume or CV, copy of transcripts from all previous universities. And for sure, your test scores, the GRE and TOEFL or the IELTS. Names and contact information for 3 references and $90 application fee. Now this slide is really important, the application components. We've spoken about the application requirements, and this is to show you what the application components that TAMOQ graduate committee will review when they look at your application. First, they will look at your graduate point average, your GPA. They will review your GRE scores, read your recommendation letters, look at your academic preparation, go into detail and look at your transcript, the courses you have taken, the credit hours, how long it took you to take the courses, where you took the courses, the university you graduated from, and then they will read your personal statement. I think many applicants think that they just write a personal statement and no one looks at it, but no, actually it's read in detail, and it tells a lot about you, and I can tell you later what you can include in your personal statement. They will also look for research experience and probably also any publications. So do keep this, take a picture of this slide, keep it in mind, and when you prepare your application, remember the 6 components. I can see someone taking a picture. Good job, prospective applicant, go. So how do you start your application? Really simply, just go online, start your application. Some simple things about yourself, and you're ready to go. With that, just send us a copy of your passport. The passport copy definitely should have your full name, your photo, birth date, birthplace, nationality, and expiration date should be at least 6 months from the date of admission. And if you reside here in Qatar, just send your Qatari ID. That would be very useful. So with the online application and your passport copy, we will process your information online, and we will send you a login and password so you can start uploading your documents. And you can start also looking at the progress with your application and your package. And we will also be looking from our side, from TAMOQ, at what you are doing. You've done your test scores, we will be alerted. You're late, you will be alarmed, and you will see notifications, continuous notifications that you need to complete your application. You start uploading your documents, and this is related to the application requirements I have spoken about. Your statement of purpose, your updated CV, the reference letters, all of that. The system will guide you, and we are available all the time to answer your questions on Facebook, chat with you. We are here to help you, the Office of Graduate Studies. So I said the statement of purpose. What should I say there? What should I write there? It's your opportunity again to address your any academic and non-academic activities that are relevant to your application. You may address the following: your academic interests and reasons for applying, your career objectives, and any relevant non-academic achievements, as well as any publications. And don't forget to outline any other relevant experience, including attendance at specialist workshops or short courses. So these are, hence what you should include in your statement of purpose. The transcripts, please upload your latest available transcript. Maybe some of you are still doing their final semester. This is fine. We will request all the original degree statements and transcripts before enrollment if you are hopefully admitted. Using global data from similar transcript evaluators and research from main campus, TAMOQ will compute or calculate a normalized GPA using a 4.0 scale based on your final 2 years or last 60 hours of course work. And this mainly, for Qatar University graduates, international university graduates. So how do we, find an equilibrium to the American system from your international university? And I will be happy to give you information how the GPA is calculated. But do remember, the last 60 hours of coursework will make a huge difference. With this, I conclude my part of the presentation. I will ask my colleague Nermeen Al-Husari from the Office of Graduate Studies to tell you more about the graduate record examination, about the references required, the online links that you need to know about, and also the English language proficiency. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I'm going to start with what Ms. Tanya started with, continue with her, the admissions requirements. I'm going to talk about the GRE. Usually when the applicants fill out his application on Texas A&M portal, he needs to enter his GRE score. This will be verified by Texas A&M and our graduate studies. How? We have, in Qatar, we have many institutions and test centers for the GRE. And when you register for the GRE exam, they will ask you to add your score recipient. And the score recipient should be Texas A&M. Okay, and our code for this is 4290. Your scores will be sent directly and automatically to us, and that way we can verify your scores. If you ask me what is the GRE, we have three criteria to measure your ability. It will measure your quantitative ability, and it will measure your writing ability, and it will measure your verbal ability. For the quantitative ability or skills, the minimum score or the average score for our admitted students is 158 out of 170. And for the verbal is 143. Those scores are valid for 5 years. And just remember always to send, as I said, to send your scores to 4290. Let's talk about the do's and don'ts for the GRE. If you decided to go and register for the exam, please register early because these usually start very quickly. When you put your name on the exam, make sure that it matches your name on Texas A&M application and other documents. And please, I will ensure you to get a good night's sleep before the exam. I don't want you to go exhausted and tired. Just you need to focus. And at the end also, we need to make sure that you send your score to TAMO, and the code is again 4290. Things that you need to avoid. Of course, you need to go prepared. So if you go unprepared, it will be a problem. And I would say you need to register early. So please don't wait till the last minute and register for the exam. Let's move on and talk about your English proficiency, your English ability. There are two ways to measure your English ability, the TOEFL and the IELTS. And our average score for the TOEFL is 80, and for the IELTS is 6. Those tests are scores are valid for 2 years. And our last criteria or requirement is the references. When you apply to our portal, you will be asked to enter 3 references. Your references will receive emails asking them to fill a specific form about you. They will vouch for you. They will vouch for your work ethic. They will vouch for your past performance. They will vouch for your potential for success. And at the same time, it will give an insight for the graduate committee about the level of your performance and about the support that you got from your references. And at the end, I can say your references should not be your family members, not be your close friends. Should be like your professors, and people that you work for. For further information and more details for our graduate program, we have created some links here, website, for the graduate studies admission and for the GLE, the transcript, the Thank you very much, and I will move on with the review. Thank you.
So thank you very much to Ms. Hania and Ms. Nermeen. I'm sure the applying students found this information very helpful. And now I'm pleased to introduce Muaz Tilam, who will present to you about his experience and joined the program in fall 2015 and is expected to graduate spring 2017.
As Jane said, my name is Moaz. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I'm on threshold of graduation, so in a lot of ways this is a reflection on my time as a graduate student at Texas A&M at Qatar. Just a bit about myself. Not only did I do my master's degree from here, but I was also an undergraduate back when I joined in 2011, so it's been quite a few years. As an undergrad, I had the opportunity to be involved in research as well in the field of fuel characterization with Dr. Al-Bashir, who's with us today. And I guess that's one of the advantages of not only being a graduate student, but of being an undergraduate in a degree with graduate faculty. My current thesis is in applied thermodynamics with Dr. Yannis Economou, who's here, and Dr. Castier. So a bit about the details of my research. I work on the development of a model based in statistical associating fluid theory, which seeks to model real fluids using ideas grounded in statistical mechanics. So a lot of the fundamental conceptual work is done by the time I get involved. But really what it is you derive an expression for a fundamental thermodynamic energy function, which is called the Helmholtz energy function. And that Helmholtz energy it's a generating function for all of your real thermodynamic fluid properties. And one of the advantages of SAF is its versatility. SAF is very robust, and this is based on the fact that your expression for Helmholtz energy is distributed among these terms, among different terms which are derived independently from one another. And the advantage of this is that by adding additional terms, you can describe molecules of additional complexity. So going all the way from maybe a simple molecule like methane to more complicated polymers, for example. Specifically in my project, I start from an existing version of SAFT called SAFT VRME, and I include a term to model electrostatic interactions, so which is important for modeling fluids with ions. Again, I've included this slide. It's a bit too mathy for like a presentation, but I've included it to illustrate really the power of thermodynamic modeling. And the way my attitude towards thermodynamic modeling is that I sense a great deal of power in having an expression for the Helmholtz energy and using that as a generating function for real fluid properties of interest. So for instance, if you take the simplest example of calculating pressure, that's a simple derivative of your Helmholtz energy function as a derivative of volume. And that's extremely important for, it seems very conceptual at this level, but in terms of real engineering design, it's very important to be able to quantify volumetric properties of your fluid, for example, for equipment sizing. Another thing that you learn in the graduate program is how to explain your research. So I was back home over vacation, and a friend of mine from high school, he's like, "So what are you working on?" And I said, "Oh well, I'm sending a model to model electrolytes and it's a thermodynamic model, and you can calculate, calorimetric properties and this and that, vapor liquid equilibria." And he's a mechanical engineer, and he said, "Well, what's the need for a model? You can already do those calculations in in HYSYS or Aspen HYSYS, or what's the one with the dispersion modeling? Slipped my mind right now. But he said, well, you can set that to steady state. You can use SolidWorks, and he was all over the place. And what I had explained to him was that you may as well be using those softwares, but there are certain models that are being run in the background, and those are all constantly in the process of improvement. Another point that I like to emphasize is that the graduate faculty here don't work in isolation, and they're very well connected with their counterparts all over the world. I've experienced this firsthand. The project that I'm currently working on is in collaboration with Imperial College London. So in that sense, as a graduate student here, don't think that you're somehow being isolated or restricted to the Middle East, but indirectly you gain a great deal of exposure to international sort of members of your discourse community. And one illustration of that is that the PPE-PPD conference, which is one of the sort of gold standard of thermodynamic modeling conferences, that's to be co-hosted by this university in 2022. It's no coincidence that it's the same year as the World Cup. Okay. We also, in terms of international integration, this is another example of that. Omega Chi Epsilon, it's an honor society which recognizes academic achievement among chemical engineering students, both at the undergraduate and graduate level. This is a picture from a previous initiation ceremony. And finally, there's a lot more to do besides studies. And what they say is that your undergraduate degree is your hardest degree. And I don't know if I should be admitting this in front of my advisor, but your undergraduate degree is your hardest degree, and you always have class, and you don't really have time to do anything. But somehow, because there's not as much coursework, you're somehow able to have more of a routine as a graduate student, and then you can spend time, maybe in the evenings or in the early mornings, to work on other things in terms of self-growth, things like that. I include this picture in every presentation because it's really good. I don't have anything specifically to say about this. This is actually the bench scale GTL plant that I think at the time of this picture was in the fuel characterization lab. This belongs to Dr. Al-Bashir. And I think, again, this illustrates that everything you do, you have all the resources here, and everything is very cutting edge, and you don't really have an excuse not to do well in this program. And there's really a sense that you're doing very meaningful work as a graduate student. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maaz, and we wish you all the best in your coming thesis defense and future work. Now I'm pleased to introduce to you Mustafa Ali, who will present also about his experience and accomplishments here as a graduate student. Mustafa is a first-year full-time student and joined the program in fall 2016.
One day, you will be a great professor, said by one of the top thermodynamics professors I began to meet when I first presented my first oral presentation for the first conference paper I published. in American Institute of Chemical Engineers Conference in Austin, 2014. This actually motivates me to work and with excellence, to graduate with excellence degree in my bachelor's, to do master's, and to achieve what he told me, that to be a professor. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Mustafa Ali. I graduated from Qatar University with honors degree in chemical engineering last year, and now I'm a first year master's student here in TAMUQ, and I'm working as a graduate research assistant in Mary Kay Corner Process Safety Center with Dr. Rubish. So I'm gonna walk you through my journey, like starting from the moment I decided to apply to TAMUQ, moving on to the moment me and my friends decided to initiate the first community for graduates and graduate student association, and ending up with the research opportunities that we can gain throughout this program. So going on with the application process, it's smooth, easy, and straightforward. Just go to the website and you will find all the guidelines that can help and guide you to apply for the TAMUQ. We always get help and support from the Office of Graduate Studies, Ms. Hani and Ms. Amin. We always get a follow-up from the Office of Graduate Studies and the Chemical Engineering program. If you're facing any obstacles or any difficulties in applying, you can get an appointment with Dr. Ahmed or Dr. Lincoln to guide you and help you to face all the obstacles you're facing in your application process. Someone may ask, like, I'm graduating from a different university, not a TAM, so I may have like a lower chance to be accepted. Actually, it's not. It's all about your performance, not where you come from. I'm from Qatar University, and my colleagues also from Qatar University. We have our colleagues from different universities from India, Malaysia, US, Canada, and other countries. So when you get accepted, you get the exposure to get the teaching experience, either by being a teaching assistant with one of the professors to help the undergrads, or being a research assistant to gain the experience of research throughout to graduate with the master's program. Diversity, it's not only for chemical engineers. I think like we have our colleagues there at the back. They are all from different disciplines: petroleum, mechanical, electrical, and they represent like more than 30 to 40% out of the graduate students this year, like in fall 16 and spring 17. We have students, as I mentioned before, from different universities like Waterloo, University of Malaysia, and Qatar universities, me and my colleagues as well. So the process is well designed to be smooth and easy. And also graduate studies and all the professors are here to help you and guide you to face or to overcome any obstacle in your application. So yeah, finally accepted to Trump. And then yeah, we started our work, research, assignments, class, exams, meetings. But what about our social life? Like, what do we do in our free time? Basically, we start work at the morning, like 8, 9, depends on your professor. And then you end up like starting your lectures at 5 or 5:30 and end up like finishing at 8:30. So basically, we'll stay here the whole day. So like TAMUQ, like for we have like lots of societies here, like, but it's only for undergrads. They provide lectures to improve the skills, like conferences, social events, fun events. But like we thought, like why we don't have our own community? Like being a graduate doesn't mean like we just stay away from the community and contribution to society. So me and my friends like Dareen, Osama, Salwan, and Absalam like thought why we don't initiate our first graduate student association for TAMUQ. So like we spoke to Ms. Hania, Office of Graduate Studies, and we raised the idea to Dr. Malavi and Dr. Alinki, Dr. Ahmed, and we got a great support from the student affairs as well. So like within 2 weeks, we did our launching event. Like I know that the picture was the launching event. But yeah, we were honored to have Dr. Malavi, Dr. Linki, and Dr. Ahmed to open the Graduate Student Association in the launching event. It was like half of the board. Others were having meetings. So yeah. So our plan for 2017 is, and basically starting next week, is like having a graduate launch where we invite one of the professors to share his experience. How did he face obstacles? How did he start from bachelor's, going to master's and PhD, and reaching here to Kamakyu? Because it's not about an interaction. It's not about a professor and student interaction anymore. So basically, it's basically we're on the same level. We're a staff, they're professors. So basically, we want to share the experience. We're now into a totally new, different lifestyle. So that's why we're starting this next week on Sunday. We're honored to have Dr. Malavi as the first guest to our event. Moving on to the etiquette dinner, now we're presenting Kamakyu outside and inside Qatar. We're in big research groups. So basically, we're always attending big meetings and representing Kamakyu elsewhere, outside and inside, as I said. So basically, we need to know exactly how to dress well, how to eat, how to speak, how to present, how basically to know exactly the professional etiquette to deal with others, because we're to give a good impression about Kamakyu. We're trying to link the academia with the industry. So by doing some industry visits to QSTP and some petrochemical industry companies, to build this bridge between the academia and research, academia and the industry. So in order to prepare our graduates to work outside in research centers with the companies or in the petrochemical industry. We're also providing some soft skills workshop and social events, like CV writing, how to write a research paper, how to develop a proposal for thesis, and how to present properly, and social events like C-line trips and golf trips. So, in order to graduate from the master's program, you need to do a thesis, which is basically a research project. So you get the chance when you first enter to Kamakyu to discuss your research interest with the whole chemical engineering professors and other professors in other disciplines, if you are electrical, petroleum, or mechanical. So my research interests were in process safety, and I found that the best place that work in this area is Mary Kay O'Connor Process Safety Center under supervision of Dr. Luke Bishop. So I decided to join the center with the Mary Kay O'Connor Process Safety Center established in 2013 as an extension from the Mary Kay O'Connor Process Safety Center in College Station under the supervision of Dr. Sam Manan. We provide services to companies to overcome the safety issues they're facing by doing an extensive research. And also we provide education and trainings to those employees to develop their management safety system and by the expertise people that we have.
Part-time student and joined the program in spring 2016. Nof is currently full-time with the industry and completing her degree at the same time.
Assalamu alaikum and howdy everyone. My name is Nof Abdullah, as she mentioned. Let me give you a brief background about myself and my education experience. So I got my bachelor's degree in 2015 in Petroleum and Natural Gas Engineering from the Middle East Technical University, that's in Turkey. Currently I'm pursuing my master's degree here with Texas A&M. I'm doing Masters of Engineering. I started out doing Masters of Science, that was before I joined the industry. So here's a small clue or a hint that you can shift between the two programs, and it's feasible and easy. They will accommodate your needs as a professional student or working in a career or so on. So when I started my master's, I joined Dr. Munir Bashir research group. We worked on synthetic fuels and we work diversely with the industry and with other universities like OXGCL, we work with BTU and other companies as well. So as a professional background, I have a very hectic background. So I started with QMB. That was before pursuing my undergrad. So I was in the private banking sector, and then I joined Dolphin Energy because I always had this passion towards study on master's grad. And I joined actually the reservoir monitoring department. I worked more of an admin job, but then I progressed into assisting a reservoir technologist. And from there, my passion kept on growing until I decided it's time to go for the undergrad. And let's finish this degree. And I did that when I went to Turkey, and I finished my degree over there. And then when I graduated, I thought I'll never do college again. That's it, you know. But then I came back, and the opportunity presented itself here in Texas A&M. Probably a big part of me was, you know what, I just want to stay home with my family. I've been away for a couple of years. And this opportunity being here in Qatar and happening here in Qatar is a big thing. And I wish to see a bit more nationals here, because I want them to take advantage of this big achievement that's happening here in Kalamazoo. And I hope that there are a lot of nationals at least looking at the live stream right now. I speak more of the national tone because I understand that a lot of us would want to go through career and would want to start making money and so on, but that was my thought initially. But then I thought, okay, masters wouldn't hurt, you know, but then having masters would be really good, and then you're doing it in A&M, and it's something fancy to keep in your CV. But the more you get involved here, you think actually you made the right decision, because all of the people, all of the knowledge that you acquire and attain as you are progressing day by day, and I'm pretty sure everyone here agrees with what I'm saying. So in the Middle East Technical University, going back to the background, I worked with the PNG department, and I worked as a teaching assistant. And throughout my undergrad, I did a couple of internships, one in Qatar Gas, one in ExxonMobil, another one in Schlumberger. And currently, I am working with Malumatio, which is an IT company, and it has nothing to do with my degree whatsoever. But it just tells me one more thing. It emphasizes one more thing, that having this passion towards learning new things is always a good thing to have. Never think that, okay, maybe I didn't get an opportunity in my field of study, because I came in with a petroleum degree, and I thought doing chemical masters, that's going to be something so bad, because I had no knowledge with what's going to happen with the courses and so on. But the professors over here, they understand when you come from a different background. They will support you 120%. Also, your colleagues over here, they'll be very helpful, very collaborative. And the community over here is not restricted to chemical engineers. That was the initial thought I had, but it's not. We have a lot of diverse backgrounds over here, say from either from engineering or even the professors, the field of research. You'll find something that will interest you eventually. So, my time issue experience. Well, the atmosphere is very dynamic. We are very well connected with the industry, as I mentioned, and with other universities and research centers. Excellent communication between professors, students, faculty, and staff. Everyone is very helpful over here. It's very safe and reliable, and it's very, very safe. So you walk here knowing that you'll be safe because of all the drills that we have once every week or so. Yeah, but then it's a very safe atmosphere here, and I mean, the amount of research that we do in the labs, it's surprising that how safe the atmosphere is here. And they make sure to make you go through a lot of safety inductions when you work in the lab. Because I went through a couple of safety inductions when I worked with Dr. Miller in the food characterization lab. Well, academia versus career. Yeah. But it's doable. Well, here's the thing. You need to have time management, goal setting, and an inspiration. For me, my inspiration was Dr. Miller, all the way through. Because the moment
I feel I'm down, even if I don't go tell him that I feel down, just knock the door, try talking to him about anything. Usually what triggers him is fuel. So you go like, okay, sir, let's talk about GTL, fuel, so on, and then he starts giving you this positive energy. And even if you do not work with him, it's highly recommended for you to go talk to him. So I'm telling you, find an inspiration. And I told you, I have a very diverse background. I went through banking, admin job, now I'm working with IT. Have this inspiration and passion inside of you. And if you have it, you do everything you can do. And sometimes you can surprise yourself of the things that you can accomplish. Who thought me, the stubborn girl who was doing undergrad, I thought I'll never do academia anymore. But then now I'm doing my master's. And now I'm thinking maybe I won't do my PhD, but I know at some point in life I will. And maybe it will be something with environmental or whatever, something that is maybe not my field right now. But what I'm telling you, find this passion inside. And if you find it, it will make you go to places that you never thought of. For me, I'll be graduating, inshallah, hopefully soon. And I hope I can be back here introducing maybe PhD program and talking to more nationals and more prospective students. And I wish you all success. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nof. Inshallah, you have a very diverse background, and your talk really, it taught me to always keep an open mind to whatever opportunity that comes, and always try to gain new knowledge. And life is a learning experience, so whatever it is. And now I kindly ask the panelists to come forward to begin the panel discussion, moderated by Brian Cozzolino, Senior Associate at Gulf Intelligence. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight for, of course, Texas A&M's Graduate Open House, as well as the first of ORCH-GTL student seminars for this year. The ORCH-GTL student seminars are a part of a broader campaign, the ORCH-GTL Student Awards for the advancement of postgraduate education in Qatar. So really promoting postgraduate education, celebrating future scientists, leaders of industry and academia, and of course, really promoting that next level, which is a big aspect of Qatar's national research strategy to become a global R&D hub. Of course, with our panelists for today, we have Khaloud from ORCH-GTL. She's the IT&T manager, as well as Dean Malave, of course, you guys know, from Texas A&M. Dr. Marwan, who's the acting executive director of CURI. Yusuf Al-Jabr, who is the deputy director of Total Research Center. And of course, Dabia Al-Mahanadi, who has done her graduate degree and master's from Texas A&M, and is now pursuing her PhD currently at Texas A&M as well. So the topic that we're discussing today is why pursue graduate studies? What is really the benefits of graduate education? And of course, really linking that to how industry values postgraduate education. Of course, government bodies such as CURI in contributing to addressing the grand challenges in Qatar for R&D. I'd like to start first with Khaloud as a representative of ORCH-GTL. From your perspective, why is this postgraduate education and increasing postgraduate education capacity in Qatar from an industry perspective so important?
So, to answer this question, I think maybe we should first look at the industry and how's it going right now. It's becoming very dynamic and very challenging. It's not like it used to be, decades ago where fossil fuel is the only or, almost only the energy source available. Now there are, new players coming to the market. There are new sources of energy there, and also the oil prices also adding to the challenge. So what we are looking for is to have a competitive advantage so that we can outperform, competitors, and also, maximizing the profits and lowering operational costs. And all this, gaining competitive advantage is not possible without having highly talented people. And postgraduates really help shaping and pushing, skills like critical thinking, strategic analysis, and all that. And this can only be done by recruiting, whether postgraduate or through our partnership with universities, through R&D activities, and other transfers that we are doing now, so that we have, competitive advantage, achieve operational excellence. For example, you might be wondering why the IT team manager is here and not engineering manager or mechanical manager. Oh, sorry. So, am I audible now? Okay. Well, now the industry are very converging in terms of IT and OT, and really software is penetrating the plant more and more. And now even in IT, we are embedding engineers there to look at the data and extract knowledge from it. So for graduates, especially data science and other, fields like robotics and other fields in engineering, it's really...
So of course, from an industry perspective, everything is so rapidly changing over the past year.
And integrating, yeah.
And integrating that postgraduate education, and of course master's students and PhD students, really being able to integrate into the labor market and take on those challenges. You mentioned IT and digitization.
Exactly.
Of course, I'd like to go to Dima Labe. In terms of developing that talent, you touched on it earlier how you went from your bachelor's into your master's degree and how that was a big transition, but that was really meaningful. And I just wanted to touch on in terms of the skill sets that by obtaining your master's degree or PhD, really how that benefits differently from undergrad and how that expands your opportunities when you either enter industry or academia or research as well in terms of
This is on. Okay. So, thank you. One of the things that you will realize when you go to graduate school is the way that you learn. When you are in your bachelor, and one of the speakers said, mentioned that you take a lot of courses. Sometimes you have the feeling that you're taking courses because they are required. But when you go into your graduate school and your master, and that happens to me, now you start selecting courses based on your on what you would like to learn. So what you will gain in a graduate education is that you will learn in a different way. Those people that study how we learn, so in a traditional undergraduate class, you do homework, you go to class, and then you take an exam. But in graduate school, you have the opportunity to learn through research, to learn through interacting with the faculty, and that is a different way of learning. You learn special skills. You become a participant in your acquisition of knowledge. So this is why, for example, we have started many years ago the undergraduate research, so that undergraduate students get exposed to working through doing research. But for me, the experience of interacting with the faculty was also very special. One of the advantages that you have of coming to a university like Texas A&M Qatar is the quality of the faculty, and that's really what makes a great university. We have great buildings, we have great labs, but at the end of the day, is a great faculty. And at the graduate program, you have the opportunity of interacting with great faculty. The class sizes are usually smaller, but also you become a partner with a faculty member. So the learning through the research and the learning through being a partner with a faculty member, you learn special skills. And one of the things that you're going to realize is that you learn deeper and you learn better, that way. And those are the skills that you can then take when you go to industry. Special skills that in many programs, including here at Texas A&M in Qatar, you start at the undergraduate level, but then you polish all those skills, when you go to graduate school and you have a different way of learning, a different way of interacting with faculty. And another thing is that now the level of competition is higher because all your colleagues, all your peers, are at the caliber of the best students. So those are the special skills that you learn, through that process that then when you go to industry, now you are what we really call a lifelong learner. Not only you have learned, all the technical skills and the formulas and so on, but you are a true learner, and those are the skills that people in the industry are looking for.
So how would you say, as you touched on basically becoming a learner, how would you say things are kind of changing now if you look towards the future, positions or challenges that a lot of students who are currently enrolled, the jobs that they might have when they graduate haven't even been created yet or might be into the market. So how would you say it's always evolving in terms of the education aspect in Texas A&M to make sure that students aren't prepared in that aspect?
So this is another thing that you learn by learning through research. I used to have a mentor that we used to go talk to high schoolers, not really to college kids about graduate school, and she will say, my job is to make your degree obsolete. And you go, that's not nice, because she was a researcher. What she was telling undergraduate students is that if you stop learning when you get your undergraduate degree, then one day you're going to be obsolete. And basically, she was being a little bit facetious, was saying that through research, I keep advancing knowledge and you have to catch up with us. So those are the things that happen in graduate school, is that, you continue to learn, but, you are being prepared for the jobs of the future. That's what happens when you learn through research. And so, we don't know, what is needed now, but through research, what we are saying is that we're preparing you for things, that might be in industry in the future. So this is another thing of the beauty of going to graduate school, is that, you're not just being prepared for the job of today, you are being prepared for the job of the future because you're learning through the research that you will do with the faculty member.
I think that's a good intro to Dr. Marwin as well, who, of course, being the executive director of the Qatar Energy and Environment Research Institute. Really taking on Qatar's grand R&D challenges of water security and energy security, and really being integrated to that Qatar National Research Strategy 2030. Where are you really seeing the opportunities for postgraduate students right now into the main research areas, and how do you see that evolving as things are progressing in terms of energy and water security?
Okay, thank you guys for the invitation. follows. Definitely, people at the undergraduate level, particularly in graduate studies, very new skills in the program, and she would want to certainly include independence. We didn't have something that was being responsible for the pieces and the ability to gather down and connect and sound and that is something that I want to link that to energy security, national security, and the other branches. If you look at the research that's presented here in the book, energy will not present at this time even discipline programs. It is a people with infused focus and to be able to function in that field and deliver and contribute, you really need to go beyond your qualifications. And that's really like I've created a new book the programs are designed to give the flexibility for you to do courses like design, structure, difficulties, qualification, discipline. So we try to do undergraduate, you have to take these courses to take your college. The graduate level, I know going to from social sciences are relevant for the skill set that is needed for the future, the and the opportunities
Of course, and also just touching as well, I know you were pretty significant in terms of developing in the UAE for the Victorian Institute as well as here in Qatar. How I think it was touched on earlier too, the difference between the research and doing postgraduate education here as opposed to let's say in the U.S. or internationally. But how would you say in terms of standards and the ability to apply research in the region and extend that globally? How would you see that progressing? Do you think that in Qatar that's moving along the right path and do you see a lot of opportunity there?
Over the last, I would say, decade, really significant progress. The work is appreciated in research, appreciated that. So I definitely say that the region has seen significant progress. Others has to do it. And I think I would say that many people of schools and schools, I would say it's not just top students across the country. When I graduated, I graduated from business, yes, I have done that. When I talk about social study, I never even considered a graduate school for an university. Good students graduate in history, would definitely consider So when you look at the students, how many students their grades, they are too strong, etc. I think that's a good indication of the progress that they're making. I just want to talk about Qatar is a transport of the region. Research is the best topic of education in the world. Because really there's a lot of stuff in the agency that I believe labor that many of the research big activities that people do. So I can definitely assure the students that they will have first-class education, they will have good actually in some instances they get to have more opportunities than the people here. And when they work with the students, imagine we work in a group of 20 students at first class. There we have a chance to meet the advisor. Here I know they can go see them 2-4 times a day. So there are good opportunities.
And I imagine a lot of real-world application as well. Yeah, of course. I just want to say too, for any students who are interested in postgraduate studies, feel free to raise your hand if you have questions. And these are a great source of information and guidance for anything that comes up as well. We can make sure it gets you. We're also bringing in Yusuf as well, Deputy Director now of Total Research Center and a former winner of the ORG-TTL Student Awards. What do you see as you've gone through the process now in terms of how much value industry, companies such as Total, place on postgraduate students? What specific skill sets are you seeing going through that process that really differentiates them?
Thank you, Brian. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good evening. Actually, this is a great honor to be back over to Texas A&M to speak as I graduated from Texas A&M. And I see some of the familiar faces. Thank you, Doctor. It's an honor to speak in front of you. Actually, the point that we are talking about is regarding the industry and their focus and the importance of graduate studies for them. The question is to be asked for a person when they are thinking, do I go for graduate study or not? Should be asked differently. He should or she should be asking herself, like, do I want to invest further in myself or not? That's the real question. Because when you do something, you should do it. If you want a job, you can get a job. But if you want a career, you need to think really carefully. There's a big distinction between those. So the industry, yes, they can offer jobs to different people, but they will only select a few people to develop them in a career-wise. And they don't select them, you have to be showing yourself that you are a candidate for that selection. I thank you for inviting me again, but this is a good time to say that doing a master took time from me, took effort. Alhamdulillah, we are Qataris here in Qatar. We're getting the chance to be sponsored, so we did not invest money. So basically, we had to put effort and put time into completing our master studies. And after that, it was noticed. It was noticed by the company, and they offered me a promotion. Why do they do that? You need to think. If you graduated as a chemical engineer, I graduated as a chemical engineer. You can ask Dr. Marabi, maybe he has the number or not. How many are graduating as chemical engineer from Texas A&M? Then add the chemical engineers who graduated from Qatar University, then add those who graduated from the region, then add those who graduated from the entire world. All they graduate as chemical engineers. So what makes the difference between you and all the other thousands of engineers? What makes you special? That's when you come to the point saying, okay, when I'm just further myself, I want to be a Ferrari in the business. I want to be special. And then when you choose to go for a graduate studies, you also need to choose the topic. Because that's where you start to think about being specialized in a field that is wanted. And that's when you come to work in the industry and God forsaken.
So where would you say in the field that's wanted or needed in demand, where are you seeing the most demand in terms of graduate degrees, or which field, which segments of, let's say, the energy sector?
Well, in the energy field, of course, it has to be, I would say, country specific. So if you are in Qatar, yes, you need to think about probably about processing gas, about gas field, about things that have related to the biggest industry in the energy part. But if you are in Saudi Arabia, you will be focused on the oil. If you are in Canada, you will be focused on sand oil. If you are, depends where you are. So I cannot say what specifically is interested here, but also we have other fields. We have chemical engineers who, I keep talking about chemical engineering because I graduated as a chemical engineer also. So we put this on the side, so I know more about this field than other fields. So as a chemical engineer, we have a lot of chemical engineers who can go and work and continue in biomedicals. Because the future, we spoke about that a few months ago, that the future is making biomedical devices in which you need people with background in engineering, but they understand the chemistry behind these devices. So you need to think, what's the future, where I am working today, where I want to be, and then you decide. And again, as I said, this is the important way to differentiate yourself from all your colleagues and from all the people who graduated before you. This is how you can say I can add value in this field because I'm specialized in this field.
So I think it's good to intro into Davia as well. Davia, you've now gone through the master's process and you're currently pursuing your PhD at Texas A&M. Why did you really decide to do your master's, and kind of how did you really come to deciding on chemical engineering, for example, and then what were the aspects that you thought of when you were deciding to pursue a PhD?
Can you hear me? Well, the chemical engineering choice for me was very personal. I come from the north of Qatar and Norfolk, and I grew up next to Ras. So I see the industry when I was growing up. It was just happening. And to me, whenever I was driving back from Doha coming to Norfolk, I always see that green line. The flaring was very big like that. And then I said, when I grow up, I want to get further back. And when I graduated high school, I applied to Texas A&M. And then during my, not sophomore, I think junior year, I went to the field certification lab, sorry. Yeah, that officer was heading, and a lot of students were working on it. And that actually intrigued me into research. So from there, we were working on testing different DVL mixes, seeing how that fits. And when I graduated, I wanted to apply to the master's program because it was already in place in 2012. And there, I met Dr. Linky, and he was my senior design professor. And I liked the idea of thinking of making up something new, following through with it, and then testing every aspect of it. And that led me into process systems, which is basically, you don't look at one technology, you look at multiple technologies. And you just don't look about the problem locally, but regionally and nationally, and you have that level, the multi-level that you get. From there, I started working on methods to reduce carbon dioxide in industrial cities, and once you get started, you get hooked. You can't leave it. And then that's why I pursued my PhD. So what I'm trying to tell the students here is you'll find the passion, like Dr. was talking about, and you'll find that problem that intrigues you, and you'll see yourself where you can contribute and make something new, something positive, and you can actually create something that's not been there before, and that's really important.
I think that's an interesting topic to touch on as well. When you pursue your master's or PhD, you don't always necessarily have to go into academia or industry. Talking about creating something new, what would be your prospects of creating your own technology, your own industry? Do you kind of have that on the horizon, or?
Yeah, of course. Because just think about it. Like we were talking about jobs of the future that don't exist. Graduate students who are working right now, they might come up with a new idea, start a new field, and then build with a job provider and Qatar. You never know. Google was a research paper, and they both put their PhDs and look at them now. So.
And the Hyperloop, I guess, was a white paper.
Yeah, exactly. Hyperloop was a master? No, that was Twitter.
Yeah, that was Twitter?
Yeah.
No, I think, Dr. Malave, from your perspective, I think that, as you may have mentioned before, that in the U.S. at Texas A&M, a lot of the PhD students, for example, enter into industry. But in terms of perspective of creating your own industries and new technologies, do you see a lot of opportunity for that, and also Texas A&M guiding them along that way as well?
One of the things that a lot of students, think that, well, I don't want to be a faculty member, so I don't want to do a PhD. And I have to tell you that at least at Texas A&M, at least 80% of the PhD graduates go to industry. When we tell that to many people, they just can't believe that. They think that the only reason to get a PhD is to become a faculty member. Now, we faculty members want you to be a faculty member, obviously, so we encourage you to become an academician. But getting a PhD, the reason cannot be the only reason that that you want to be a faculty member. But another thing that is being promoted is this idea of being an entrepreneur, and you see that a lot, in universities that now offer those courses and those opportunities to students. You see faculty members, and now, one of the things that they do is not only they to write the papers, and so on, but they're looking for ways that they can develop new products and patents. You see that in the way that some of the research agencies are shifting some of their the emphasis into commercialization and so on. So I think that that is very healthy, and that will translate, to the students that not only you are getting a degree, you can be a great faculty member, you can go contribute to a company, but hopefully also you can create new companies, and you can see that also even at the bachelor level in many disciplines. For example, in bioengineering, that they have a tremendous emphasis in entrepreneurship because it's a new industry. And I think that here in Qatar you see that also, that from the funding, to some of the things that are going on in the nation, that they're looking to, how can I translate this great research into a new product. Well, one thing is the following also. Again, one of my friends that was teaching the entrepreneurship course, he defined something on intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship, how we become with terms. I didn't know what was that, but he said you can work for a company and be an entrepreneur. You can have the skills of an entrepreneur and work in a corporation. So to be an entrepreneur, that doesn't mean only that you're going to go out and create a new business. You can be a faculty member. I mean, I believe that each faculty member is an entrepreneur if you look at the work that they do. So the skills of being an entrepreneur, not only to create new businesses, but also to use it, as you work as a professional, either in academia or with industry.
Exactly. And Dr. Marwan, are you seeing kind of this opportunity as well within the research kind of environment here in Qatar, that opportunity for entrepreneurship to develop your own technologies?
Well, this is now the fashion, but it's true, because I think the focus is not only on just doing research, but I think on doing impactful research, and that means you have to develop something, to develop solutions for the society. I mean, at the end of the day, research has to lead to improved life. I mean, whether it's in water, in energy, in health, in ICT, etc. So I think there's a great emphasis these days on first involving the private sector to create partnership with public sector, and that is so critical to enhance the entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem. Because when you start exposed to the problems of the industry, then as faculty, as researchers, then you start coming up with solutions for these problems that you would not have thought about without interaction with the industry. So there's a lot of emphasis on that. Actually, the foundation, Qatar Foundation, the R&D division, and the universities all are really putting a lot of effort on going beyond just research for the sake of research. I think you want to do research, but you want to go further. You want to develop that, you want to develop technology, you want to advance technologies, you want to really commercialize, as Dr. Marek said, new products. And products could be improved solution or an improved product. It doesn't have to be a new product. It doesn't have to be something, start from scratch. That's what innovation is. But also innovation does not only end at a tangible thing. It could be an innovation in a process, it could be an innovation in a business model to advance a certain technology. So we look at innovation from different perspectives. Not only technological innovation, but business, also system level innovation. But the key is the following. Knowledge-based economy requires people to manipulate knowledge to generate wealth. And to do that, you have to develop new knowledge to be able to generate wealth. And that requires people to study not just the technical textbooks or the traditional courses, but needs to go beyond that. And be able to link discipline with another discipline, and learn from a discipline to another discipline. Dr. Rabi mentioned the bioengineering. That's a great area of innovation because you're bridging two disciplines together. So all the knowledge that was generated in engineering and all the knowledge that was generated in medicine, when you bring it together, you're going to have huge innovation, new things, new ideas. think it's all about opportunity to contribute to this knowledge base. And you need to gain knowledge, but you also need to know how to manipulate knowledge. And I think the graduate students can give you that.
So you're saying, as things move forward, a lot of opportunities for that cross-collaboration, multidisciplinary type of educational background, and then being able to apply to new changes. And that's a good does anyone have a question?
Very short, I tell students that the best time to do the graduate school is immediately after the bachelor. So that's a question that we always get, and I say, well, obviously, if you have a family, if you are, you marry, you have kids, and so on. Yeah, sometimes you just have to go to work, but that's the best time. Best time is immediately, after the bachelor. But it's never too late. It's never too late to go to graduate school.
Thank you, Doctor. I think this kind of question is depends on the person in front of you. So if we had 100 panelists, you will get 100 answer, and they will never agree on one answer, because it's different from case to case, from person to person. I guess you could see these differences in many fields. Like the question I was asked, what is the best field? The best field, it depends on the content. What's your background? What's your knowledge? If the best field is in biomedical, but you studied law, maybe you cannot enter it as an engineer, but you can enter it from different door. So for me, I believe is who decides on this one is you as a person. You have to sit with yourself. You have to set objective. You have to set plan for yourself. Forget the plan that company gives you. They tell you, oh yeah, we're going to give you 5 years, you're going to be a senior engineer working in the field, and maybe we will promote you to become a supervisor. No, say, okay, thank you, I will work on that plan, but then you have your own plan. And your own plan should know exactly where and when you need to pursue your master, because it's an important card that you play in your career. It is when you reach to a point where you cannot move forward, you have to play that card. It's like a joker card, let's say. You can play it any time, but if you play it right, you can win the game. You can win the race. If you play it wrong, you could lose it for nothing. There are people who did it too early in their career, and I know them, and it advanced them. There are people who did it too early in their career, and then immediately, and then they could not see what's next because they did not have a plan. They just wanted to have a master and get this on a list, and they scratch it. Okay, now I have a master. Now what? So it depends on your career, where you are, what kind of job you want to do, where you want to be, where you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. When do you want to retire? All these questions you need to ask today. The sooner you know the answer, they can change. But the sooner you know, you have an image and a picture of where you want to be and what you want to do, then it's easier for you to move forward and decide that on the right time.
I agree that I agree with you that in many cases, many people say, if I do not the majority is not. So definitely, I have personally advised you are now. But that does not mean that you're not going to you have to have a plan. Once you start looking at that's going to happen. So that's you go after what you really like. Also, the right time is really opportunity to that. But you just have don't have to interrupt your class. So if you feel down is better. For the people who are doing undergraduate, don't wait. That's my advice. Yeah? Because it means commitment to new skills. Early young, you can afford to stay here for midnight. And have fun.
Well, from my perspective, just a question as well, maybe Davia can answer. In terms of deciding what field to go into, I look back on my experience of how, year on year it just changes my opinions, my perspectives, everything. So doing it right after bachelor versus having somebody in the industry to guide you, what would you say is kind of the best way to frame your decision for postgraduate education? What do you think are certain things to think about in terms of motivation, what area to study?
Going back to that question, if you're undergraduate and then you're working in chemical engineering, you want to do the master's in chemical engineering, you will be taking similar courses, so it will be much easier for you to pass them, like really quickly. And then, yeah, exactly. And you're already accustomed to that notion of, oh, I have homework, I need to finish it. It's not like, oh, wait, can I have the time to do it? And then the next, that's on during your first year or your first 2 semesters. And then you manage your own self basically afterwards in terms of your research. And that gives you a lot to think about.
Yeah, so back to my question. Again, I find it, even for going from undergrad to you being a part of the industry, I feel like your passions or your thoughts on certain areas, they always change and grow down the path. What would you tell the students right now the best way to kind of frame their mindset in choosing, which path to take? Thinking 10, 25 years retirement down the line is a little difficult. Is there any way to kind of bring that more down to earth in terms of some structure?
It's about the set of skills that you're going to get. So if you're also, when you're doing a graduate study, it takes a lot of commitment. So if you're not interested in the type of problem you're working with, then you're going to lose it, even if you have the deficit on the below. So you're going to have those long nights and long days, basically all-nighters, and you will need to find the motivation. And unless you work with someone who you actually can communicate with, an excellent advisor, and you work within a team, you can bounce ideas off your fellow students. That environment also helps, but it goes back to the problem again, what you're working on. So choose something that you love.
So it's really looking at your skills and what your strengths are, and I'll help guide you on that way as well.
Brian, this question is very important because for me, making that decision, it's could be a life commitment toward a certain field, and you don't want to put it in the wrong way. So one of the ways that you can have good input is to actually talk to the people closer to you, around you. This is one of the things that you really get here by studying at Texas A&M here in Qatar, because it's really connected with the industry. So you see your TTL are here, Total is here today. They have a representative from other companies that will always come and join some of the different sessions and some of the different events of the university. So talk to those people and ask them. Tell them, okay, it's simply, you go, you shake your hands or you introduce yourself and you say, I'm doing such and such and I'm planning to do so and so. What do you think? What is the industry is like? So you don't have to go and work in the industry to get a sense. Well, you can talk to the people around you. Your professors are well connected with the industry, and most of them, they work with big companies and projects for big companies. So if the professor is putting a lot of emphasis on one certain area, that means it is needed, and you can look at the fund that they are receiving. That means it is looked at from the top down that this is an important subject. So you could channel yourself there, and it will help you in making up your decision rather than waiting and trying to test the market for 3 or 4 or 5 years and then decide. No, you can decide early if you just look at it. And this is a funny thing. Maybe even for the professor, you can use this one. One guy told me this fact, and I tried it, and it's really worked. There is a good way to understand where the country is going. You can look at the national newspaper and look at the first page, just the first page, and only read the main titles. And if you do that for a week or for a month or for a couple of months, you will have a sense of what is important today for the country. If you see, for example, an opening of a process chemical plant is taking the first page and it is mentioned over 2 or 3 days, one day before, one day after, one day in the middle, then it's important. But if this event, although it is big and it's important, is mentioned in the middle in the page number 12 or 13, just under Carrefour advertisement, then it's not important. So this is what I'm saying. You can get a sense without even talking to anyone, just if you try to survey the market yourself. And you have this newspaper. We have 3 main ones in Arabic and 2 main ones in English, and you can see where we are going.
Khalid, in terms of IT&T, are you seeing, because when I think back in terms of jobs in the future that went around, but now you have big data and cybersecurity and digitization, are you seeing a big demand in that field as well, like for retail and even when you were at OU before? Yeah. Are you guys seeing some momentum in terms of data science and like development of data scientists or like that?
I hope so. I come, even though I'm a chemical engineer, I did my career as an industrial engineer. It's one of the key areas of industrial and systems engineer, the data science.
Yeah.
But I see it all over. I mean, any discipline, civil engineer, petroleum, chemical, the idea of, now we have the ability to collect large amounts of data. And I know that there is an emphasis on that, and that is one of those degrees that, you don't see a bachelor degree in data science. You will have to go to a graduate program to acquire that knowledge, which is extremely important, these days.
Are there any, I think we might be wrapping up here soon.
Okay, for us, we do host a few undergraduates when they do their summer training. The challenge comes that the summer internship usually is short for undergraduates. They come for a couple of months. It's not really enough to give them strong experience about what they need to do because most of the programs that we run in terms of research are years. They take years. And minimum you need someone, and we did a huge discussion during the French Qatar France forum. We sponsored the forum and we actively involved in this discussion about the internship for students when they come to industry. We are looking for students to come for 6 months, but that's difficult for undergraduate. That's why when you are a graduate student, you get to have the time for 6 months to do an internship and work on a project and start with expectation, objective, and then you do delivery. On the other hand, when you mentioned the Europe UREP program, it is undergraduate experience program. So it's to give you the experience. If they wanted the undergraduate to do real research, they would not create this program and they will just tell them, okay, you become part of the MPRP or you become part of real research, which you are not ready, or like the students is not ready. If the students is ready for that level, they would join it right away. That's why, yeah, I know that you want to jump ahead and do the next step and the next one and the next one, but life is taken step by step, and I see the current programs are serving their purpose. We are working with internship, providing 6 weeks, 8 weeks, which is what the undergraduate can commit during the summer if they are not taking summer courses. But for a graduate, we are happy to have them for 6 months. Actually, we require them to have them at least minimum for 6 months, if not one year. So this is from our side as industry.
So I think we have to wrap up right now with the presentation following this. I just wanted to give closing comments as ORCTL. Thanks for hosting this student seminar, but any closing comments that you'd like to convey in the postgraduate study? Thank you all for joining on the panel today. And any students as well, I'd recommend, if you have time as well, to ask some questions while they're here after the presentation. Thank you guys. So ORG-TTL will be giving a brief presentation overview of the ORG-TTL Student Awards.
Many thanks to the panelists, Dr. Cesar Malavi, Dean and COO, Texas A&M University at Qatar, Dr. Marwan Khreshe, Acting Executive Director at Qatar Environment and Energy Research Institution, KIRI, Khulud Muhammad, IT and Telecommunications Manager at ORG-GTL, Yusuf Al-Jaber, Deputy Director of Total Research Center at Qatar and recipient of the third ORG-GTL Student Award, Dabia Al-Muhannadi, graduate student pursuing her PhD here at TAMQ, and also a recipient of the third ORG-GTL Student Award, and moderator Brian Cozzolino, Senior Associate at Gulf Intelligence. Now I'm pleased to present to you Ms. Khulud Muhammad, IT and Telecommunications Manager at ORG-GTL, to present on the ORG Student Award.
Good evening. As part of ORG-GTL's corporate social responsibility and in support of Qatar National Vision, we are delighted to call for nomination for the fourth ORG-GTL Student Award for the advancement of postgraduate education in Qatar. We look forward to exploring the potential of the Qatari youth who are eager to learn and contribute to Qatar's national growth. Education is the first and most vital step in creating knowledge-based economy, and we are proud to celebrate the significant talent in our community of master's and PhD students. The vision behind this award is to encourage research-focused education and its vital role in building innovative R&D ecosystem. Thus, this award takes place annually to celebrate and recognize those who contributed towards building the country's R&D hub. Just like Zabia and Yusuf, the previous award winners went on to take leading roles in organizations like QC, Qatar Foundation, and Qatar University. And we hope the next winner will join also ORG-GTL very soon. Now I'll leave it to Brian to explain the details of this prestigious award. So, Brian.
Thank you, Khulud. Just to echo what Khulud was saying, the campaign is now in its fourth year, and it's really for the advancement of postgraduate education. Really celebrating future scientists, future leaders, future industry, and I would say academic leaders as well. And really promoting postgraduate education as a key component of Qatar developing into a national and international R&D hub. So just regarding the process, of course, ORG-GTL will organize a selection committee that will be combined of leaders from industry, academia, and government from Qatar and internationally. As you can see, previous selection committee members the awards criteria. So 2 master's students and 2 PhD students will be awarded with the ORG-GTL Student Award. Also, I'd like to say too that we'll be recognizing the dissertation advisors of the students too. Regarding the awards criteria for PhD, the student must be a Qatari national or Qatari-based and Qatar educated for a period of consecutive 10 years. Near completion of PhD or a recent PhD graduate in an energy-related field. We've also received some nominations in interesting areas regarding IT and computer science as well, as that's kind of going into that space. PhD dissertation should be relevant to Qatar. Of course, extra weight will be given to students who will have a clear impact in the advancement of the energy industry, and also the fact that they demonstrate the intention of working in Qatar. as well as say when we say recent. The awards criteria for the masters, of course, again, Qatar national or Qatar based and Qatar educated for a period of 10 consecutive years. Near completion of masters or recent master graduates, again within the past years, demonstrates the potential to be a future thought leader, as well as the intention of working in Qatar, and also for master's criteria, we'll put extra weight for those who are considering to pursue their PhD. Of course, always exemplary undergraduate and graduate experience will be taken into consideration. So for the nomination requirements, if you'll just be sending them to me, we need the nominee CV, published content. For PhD students, there's probably more.
Word of thank you to everyone who attended, to Dean Malavi and the panelists, to the faculty, staff, and graduate students, and to Gulf Intelligence for their continuous support and collaboration. Now I'd like to invite you all for the reception. Thank you.